It's a Matter of Principles by EDU TV. EDU TV with 1 million eyeballs across the globe.
Connecting schools, universities, industries, and corporate houses.
सीखने की चाह है, सीख मेरी राह है, सीखने की चाह में, सीख मेरी माँ है। कल को बदलने की आग है धधक रही, संकटों की आह में मुश्किलों की वाह है। लक्ष्य को साधने गांडीव तैयार है, मुश्किलों की आंख में मेहनत का बाण है। से मैं सीख लूं, शिष्य ऐसा बन सकूं, द्रोण मस्तक पर गर्व मुकुट रख सकूं। भविष्य को संवारने प्रयास की कमी नहीं, पहाड़ को तराशने श्वास ये थमी नहीं। ज्ञान कुंड अग्नि में कमियों को स्वाहा करूं, उभरने की राह में कुंदन की चाह है, उभरने की राह में सीखने की चाह है, सीखने की चाह है। लक्ष्य को साधने गांडीव तैयार है, मुश्किलों की आंख में मेहनत का बाण है।
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good afternoon, good evening for the different geographies you are in. Welcome to EDU TV's famous program, It's a Matter of Principles. It is indeed a privilege to gather here today as we delve into an incredibly significant topic, parent leadership. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed host, Ms. Mehra, founder of Vision Search, Noida, whose pioneering efforts in family relationships and parent leadership have illuminated new paths for all of us. Her insights and passion continue to inspire, and joining us as our distinguished guest is none other than Dr. Anshu Arora, the famous Dr. Anshu Arora, the illustrious principal of MIT International School, Sector 43, Gurugram, India. Dr. Arora's leadership and scholarly contributions have garnered global recognition, making her a beacon in the field of education. Today's discussion promises to be enlightening and enriching as we explore the essence of parent leadership, a crucial aspect in shaping the future of our children and our communities. Together, in next 15 minutes, we will uncover profound perspectives and actionable insights that will resonate with all stakeholders in the realm of education and beyond. Once again, thank you all for being here. Over to Mrs. Mona Mehra, founder, Vision Search, Noida. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pranav, and it's an honor to be here. And thank you, Dr. Anshu Arora, to be the principal of MIT International School. It's an honor to have you on the show. And I have gone through your profile, ma'am, and you have more than 30 years of experience. And you're a master trainer with CBSE and a Jewel of India award. And you have done your PhD research on media habits of school children. Ma'am, children nowadays are facing so many problems due to their media exposure. Now, can you guide parents as to how to deal with these problems?
Yeah, sure. That's a lovely question. First of all, thank you, Mr. Pranav and Ms. Mona. It's indeed my, I would say, honor and privilege to be here with both of you. Yes, I mean, you wanted my guidance on media habits. I would just suggest that parents have to play a big role here. It is very vital to understand how much screen time your child is taking. You know, the kind of games that children play. If parents take the effort to see whether the games are age appropriate, you'll be surprised to know a large number of children today are playing games which are not age appropriate. You might play for fun, which is okay, but these are all very dangerous. They can get into, it coaxes a child to invest money, to spend money to buy a certain facility in the game. And as a result, I am aware that there are children who've got into big financial issues, rather scams, so to say, because in that rush, your mental rush of being the best player, you end up buying things and levels of the game, and you are in a big tormented state, because let's say if you have somehow taken your parents' phone and the money has been deducted from your parents' account, then children can neither face themselves nor their parents. So before the situation gets to this, I think it's very important that parents and children sit down on a table and decide the family rules. It should be very clear that parents and children should have family time, which is without your mobiles, without any kind of screen addiction. And then even the phone, how much would you allow a child to have his phone? Like if it's a grade 6 child, you can just very clearly say that he needs mobile just for half an hour, 1 hour, or maybe no mobile, and he has to share the parent's phone. If it's an elderly child who has to travel on its own, needs a phone for certain reasons, even then you can ask the child to leave the phone in a central area in the house and then give him half an hour, 1 hour, depending on, again, whether it's a holiday, whether he's got an exam ahead, to use his phone. And, understand one thing, that sitting on the phone, even an educated grown up person cannot keep an account of time. You are just there on the Insta reels, Facebook. It absorbs you. You are just there like a couched potato. If all of us cannot handle it responsibly, how are we expecting our child to handle it? So we have to understand that this is a big challenge. We have to step in. We have to make the child understand and make certain ground rules, and then encourage your child to follow them. If your child has a clear goal, then I'm sure he will listen to you. It cannot be just you're not doing an everyday conversation and suddenly a media conversation is done. So it has to revolve around each and every area of life. But this indeed is a very important area, and things need to be looked at.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you, Dr. Anshu, because I have a son who's in class 9, and all the time I'm telling him that there is so much of media exposure that it starts with, mobile, then into TV, then into something else. And, you require all these things because you require a laptop also, and you require each one of them. So there has to be some kind of a time management, which I get from you, which parents should adhere to, as well as, because what children see, they follow. And
Exactly.
if parents are not adhering to it, then the children will also not adhere to it. So I think the viewers should gain that it's the time management which is very important right over here. And moving ahead, I think as parent leader, there are certain characteristics or qualities which a parent leader should have. And because eventually we are building the character of children. And what do you think should be the few characteristics, 2, 3 characteristics that should be exhibited by a parent?
Yeah, so at this point, I would like to do a parent to parent man ki baat. It's like, dear parents, I can only say that to raise a child, we have to raise ourselves. And at the bottom of it lies our value system. Everything else will fall in place if the values that a parent holds are clear. He knows what values are of importance to him. He himself abides by it and has all that as a role model. You cannot and should not expect your child to listen to you. They will not listen to you. Having said that, what do we do? Trust me, dear parents, a child will see you, and whatever you're doing, he will absorb that and do that. You want respect for yourself, please go and respect the house help at home. Please be nice and courteous even to the guard in the school. So you don't only have to respect authorities, so you should not give a wrong message when you're teaching a value. You saying honesty is the best policy, then you have to practice honesty. You cannot say as a father that your boss will call and you will tell your child, "Bolo main ghar par nahi hu," ya "Papa soye hue hain." You cannot do that. You have to stick by your values. Your child has to see you. And when we live by values, everything is not rosy. You might have a tough day because you're trying to live by your values. And that is the respect you have to show for that tough day and show it to your child that, yes, I had to stretch my day too much. I had to work hard because this is an important value for me. And by holding this value close to me, this is how I feel. Then the child will learn from you. If we don't cut corners, our children also will not cut corners. So it's all up to you. Important values to my mind is, if you ask me, number one, I would say stick by your words. If a parent does it and teaches that to the child, that every word that we utter is a responsible word. If you can do something, then commit yourself to doing it. If you can't, then you need to turn that offer down day one. You should not keep anyone in dilemma. If you're very, your heart, your body, your soul is so this thing that, okay, my words are important, I will not let my words down. Instead of letting anyone else down, if I say something, I will stand by it, then that's a very great thing, because that will give a person an integrity, that will make a person responsible, and that will make him a conscious citizen. And that is what we want our children to be. More than conscious, I think we also in this generation want our children to be global citizens. So
Absolutely.
these certain values that I've just discussed are very important. And then, yes, parents can take their own pick. Maybe to each one, certain thing may be more important than how I have, I'm trying to say this. So you can decide, okay, for you, maybe something else is of more importance. Then pick that and have that as a family value and then teach it to your child.
When you talked about values, Dr. Anshu, there is, as a parent myself, there are times, sometimes it happens as parents that you are talking, you promise something. Maybe you promise that you take him somewhere and you are not able to fulfill. It happens practically. There are so many reasons that happen. Then at that point of time, do you think as parents, we should learn to apologize or say sorry to our children so that they learn?
100%. And that will make a child. Initially, even when you promise, I think you should still tell the child that this is what I'll try and do to the best of my abilities. If something doesn't work out, child, we will still look into it. So he knows that, there can be a last minute emergency. You try, give it your 100% shot, try and do it. If you can't, please go and apologize. Tell your child that you feel bad, it has not happened. If you are sticking by your word, then that will come to you automatically. That if I have failed in something, the least you can do is at least rectify that by going and apologize. And do not feel small. If you do that to your child will do that to many more people and will set a very good example.
Absolutely. You said very right, because that is what gets replicated. But here one more aspect comes into picture, is that the ego of the parents come into picture, that how can I, say sorry or apology to my child? But that should be kept aside.
No, the bigger question you have to ask your child is, do you want your child to have ego or a fine personality? A character, well, the others will also quote and talk about. So your ego is not more important than your child's character and personality. So you will have to, and in bending, you don't lose anything. I think extreme rigidity is not a sign of anyone being alive and happy and progressive. To me, being flexible also, changing also as per the time, and apologizing is all shows that you are very human, and everyone is a human end of the day.
Absolutely. Like it said, flow like water, and change with times. That's very important and very well explained. And when we come to home environment, when the environment of the home has to be positive and conducive for a child to express themselves. So as parents, what should they do that they should make a home environment to be positive? What do you have? What tips do you have for parents?
I think it all starts with number one, open communication. and taking interest in your child's life. You know, when you sit down on a dining table, always ask your child, how was your day? How did things fall in place? Let him analyze. Don't judge him too much. Because once you snub a child, you know, he will not come back and tell you the same. Even if you hear the conversation and you feel that your child was the one who was at fault in that situation, please have some patience and explain that to him another time. At that point, let that be a good listener. Listen to everything. Maybe even when you're judging him, you've just heard him halfway, and when you've heard the entire, narration, you might still feel that no, what you thought in the first half of it is not correct. So that patience, non-judging attitude, being open, telling a child that it is okay, that they have our back, you know, that we will be by their side come what may. Nonetheless, no matter what we tell them, we are with them. And an environment where they're loved, they're taken care of, they're heard, they're seen, their opinion is important. You plan a vacation, please sit down, ask your child also. He may something say something which you don't want to do ultimately, but at least show it to him that why you cannot do what he has said. Let him be a part of that brainstorming. Let him take important financial decisions. I'll just give you an example here. I remember my daughter when she was in grade 6. She got this holidays homework where she was supposed to make the entire budget. So she had to come to the parents, find out what is their salary, and then jot down everything which she felt was important and decide on a budget. It was a maths come skill based homework. So after doing that, and she's juggling between things and getting the costs and all the details, she comes and tells me, "Mom, we shouldn't go to PVR too often." And I was like, "Okay." I said, "Why? Who told you that?" "No, no, I realize it's very expensive. We can watch a movie at home." So, if you make them responsible, they will also give you responsible decisions. I did not mean that for her. I had not said that to her, but they themselves will start to value. I've seen some parents constantly they tell their child, "Khana waste nahi karna, khana waste nahi karna." Does the child even know what is the cost? Does he understand the tiffin that you've packed? It's effort, it's value, it's money. The day they will understand all that, they will not waste it. So involve them in these decisions so that they behave more responsibly.
Absolutely. Finances are very important and they should know about the finances and the cost involved in making the various things that they do and, entertainment or food. Very well said. And do give me there are parents. You've been working with parents and schools and in a school and teacher. So there must be an incident you might recall where you required the involvement of the parents to rectify the behavior of a child. Can you share so that we can share with the parents how they can do that?
I think that involves every other child that you're dealing with. If parents have this feeling that the child and the school can make a child, it's not going to happen. Neither can it be a parent and child's effort. Only and only when all three come on one page. That means the school, entire school, which means teacher, principal, everyone who's a part of the school, the child and the parent. When we hold hands with the parents and we understand the strength and weaknesses of a child and work in tune with each other, only then the child can be progressive, only then the child can improve. And studies is one thing. There are certain times that a child is going through an emotional upheaval. I had a case in my school where the elder child was down with cancer. Now, suddenly, there are two school going children, and the elder child is down with cancer. The house is going to have a very difficult environment in every respect. So, only if the parent comes and talks to me about this, can I help the younger child to come out of this, to, assist his elder sibling into, being a better, kind of coaxing him and helping him as and when possible. And even the elder child, who was also a student with us, you know, we had to take care of him more emotionally than anything else. Because, those are kind of things which really put the whole house in a very topsy-turvy situation. Then
Absolutely.
any kind of mishap at home, any kind of tragedy, when parents keep us informed, then we can deal with it more effectively. I recently had, there are two kids actually in the school, they lost their father, and the mother was the one who had donated liver. So you can understand the situation at home that they lost their father, the mother is not keeping well, she lost her job. So there is financial, emotional, there is so much to cope up with. So those are situations where in school, the school counselors, even the normal class teachers, can pitch in and can help the child to come out of the situation. So it's very important for both of them to stay at same page. And only one little thing I like to tell the parent here is that many a times when we talk to parents and tell them this is how the child behaved at school, they are not willing or ready to take that information. So, dear parents, please understand how the child behaves at home is just one part of it. You'll be surprised to know sometimes, like I have two kids. I cannot vouch as to what they're doing in their own institutions because that environment, that moment, that situation could be very different. So please listen to whatever the schools are telling you. I mean, instead of taking that again to your ego and thinking, my child ये कैसे कर सकता है? Child, बच्चा तो बच्चा है. कोई भी बच्चा कोई भी गलती कर सकता है. So let's at least give them that little freedom of making small mistakes, but understand what it is, counsel them, and deal with it.
Absolutely. Feedback mechanism, or we call feedback, is very, very important. And when school is giving feedback that child is behaving differently, I think we should listen. In fact, my child, when my child was small, in the, first he had moved from KG to first, and I got a call from the teacher that he's running about, he's disturbing the class, and his grades are going down. And as a parent, that was a shock that what happened. And we went to the school and we were in a shock state, and then we devised a plan to get him back. And 6 months it took us to get him back on track. So as a parent, I understand that feedback is very important, and actually children are in the learning stage and they will make mistakes.
Yes. Yeah,
Absolutely.
because if you constantly show this that you don't want to listen to what the school or the teachers are doing, it's quite possible that teachers will stop telling you. So that should not happen. Be open to conversation. Listen to what maybe you can make up your own mind as to what you want to do, but do not discourage this open feedback. Take that and try to use it positively for the betterment of the child, and that's what I'm very certain any school and any parent wants. So we all have common goals, we are all working towards those common goals, so listen to each other.
Absolutely. Very well said. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Anshu. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. I really enjoyed my conversation with you. I don't even realize how we have moved from one question to the other. It looked like we're just talking across the table. So I think this digital world has also got us closer now in this today's time. So can we use so positively like we just did right now? My pleasure to connect with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pranav. Over to you, Pranav.
Thank you for joining us today for this insightful discussion on parent leadership. A special thanks to Ms. Mona Mehra, our esteemed host, and Dr. Anshu Arora, our distinguished guest. Your contributions have made today truly exceptional. Let's continue to explore and inspire in the realm of education and family leadership. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
EDU TV with 1 million eyeballs across the globe.
Connecting schools, universities, industries, and corporate houses.